Bitter Harvest by Thomas. Chapter 6. Stupid, 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 stupid! If she put forth a bit of effort, she could have any pony she wanted. Golden Harvest had been told that by... It didn't matter who had told her that. What mattered was that it was true. Equestria was a land of endless possibility. All she had to do was put in the effort and follow her dreams. You had to follow your dreams. Dream following was important. You couldn't grow carrots right unless you followed your dreams. Carrots could sense when a pony wasn't following her dreams, and then they just wouldn't grow right. They were very judgmental in that regard. Carrots were probably the most judgmental of all vegetables. So Golden Harvest stood in line following her dreams. Most of her dreams didn't involve a lot of lines, but Saturday was a busy market day. The market square was filled with ponies standing in line for one thing or another. Some were waiting to buy corn. Others were waiting to buy lettuce. Normally, there would be a line of ponies waiting to buy Golden Harvest carrots as well, but she was not selling her carrots like she usually did on Saturday. This Saturday, it was more important to follow her dreams. Besides, she didn't see any saddle Arabians around that she could sell to. Ponies stood in line for a lot of reasons. Some of them wanted to buy things. Some of them just wanted to look at things. Some of them wanted to make it to the outhouse. Golden Harvest had no doubt there was even some pony somewhere who simply enjoyed being in lines. There was a special talent for everything, after all. Golden Harvest was not in line because she liked lines. Her special talent was carrots, and her second special talent, if there were such a thing, which there wasn't, was stealthiness. Liking lines was way, way down the list of things she might have been talented at. At best, she tolerated lines. They were useful. They got ponies to what they needed one by one without any pony getting trampled or crowded out. Yeah, okay, lines were pretty alright. She could see herself being okay with lines. But she wasn't in line because she was okay with lines. She was in line to follow her dream. She wore a wide-brimmed straw sun hat as she stood in this particular line. It did not have any veils on it, of the real type, nor the type which was actually lingerie, but she called it a veil to preserve her sanity. No, this was a genuine veilless hat which she had purchased last night at the general store along with a pair of shears and some mascara. It was amazing, really, the variety of things for sale at the general store. Golden Harvest supposed that was why it was called a general store and not a private store or a corporal store. She was pleased she had decided to wear her new straw sun hat today because the sun was very bright and hot, and her hat kept her head and neck shaded. This was, of course, the purpose of a sun hat, but Golden Harvest felt clever all the same for thinking to bring it. Being cool and comfortable was critical to following her dreams. She never dreamed of squinting and fanning herself, possibly because she did not sleep in the daytime. The line moved, which meant that the pony at the front of the line must have gotten what they needed and left. Actually, since every pony in the line had to take a moment to recognize that the pony in front of them had moved before they moved themselves, it meant the pony at the front of the line had already finished their business some time ago, and the effects of that were only just now reaching her. Standing in line was like being a few minutes in the past. What was happening now would not get to her until it had already happened. Perhaps Golden Harvest was already at the front of the line in real time, but in line time she was still only halfway there. Lines were actually pretty neat. Maybe she should spend some time standing in lines more often. But not right now. Right now she was in line for a purpose, and that purpose was to follow a dream. And that dream was about... Oh, the line moved again. That was good news. She still could not see much of the stand ahead of her because some of the ponies in front of her were awfully large, but she was definitely getting closer. Soon she would be at the front of the line. She would get what she needed and leave the line, and it would take a few minutes before that moment in time reached the ponies in the back of the line. Golden Harvest wondered if standing in lines messed with Minuet's ability to tell the time.
"Are you all right, miss?"
asked the pony behind Golden Harvest in the line. She was an elderly mare with a pearl necklace hanging from her neck. Because of the line, this elderly mare was further in the past than Golden Harvest was, so she made sure to speak slowly so that she could understand her future speak.
"I am wonderful. Thank you for asking."
She gave the old mare a wide, reassuring smile. The older pony responded with an uneasy nod.
"Oh, okay."
She pointed to Golden's rear leg.
"It's just your leg is shaking."
Golden Harvest glanced down. Her hoof tapped out a rapid staccato on the cobblestones.
"So it is."
She continued to smile reassuringly. The old mare fidgeted uncomfortably. She glanced past Golden Harvest.
"Oh, look, the line moved again."
It was so true that with age came wisdom, because the line had moved just as the mare said. Golden Harvest stepped forward, allowing the ripple effect in time to continue on down to the back of the line. Those ponies behind her could consider those seconds she had just given them a gift directly from her. A pony could afford to feel generous when she was on her way to follow her dream. She was now close enough to the front of the line that she could smell her goal. It smelled fresh and sweet, with just a hint of tartness. It smelled like the sum of rain and sun and time and kicking trees. It smelled like apples. Ahead of Golden Harvest rose the red and white banner proclaiming in bold lettering the Mecca of Dreams, Sweet Apple Acres Fruit Stand. Barrels of apples stood on either side of and behind the portable wooden counter. Galas, Red Deliciouses, Fujis, and Macintoshes filled the shelves. A stack of Granny Smiths, the apples, not the pony, stood on the countertop next to the small bit chest. Some days the stand would have pies and fritters, but today it was whole apples only, though there were a couple surplus jars of Zap Apple jam in the back. In the thick of it all, her signature Stetson bobbing up and down as she gave a professional smile to each pony she sold an apple to, was Applejack. The rhythm of Golden Harvest's shaking leg increased in tempo. Her ears flicked this way and that. It wasn't like she was nervous, though really she had every right to be nervous. Why shouldn't she be nervous? A pony was allowed to be nervous when she was on the cusp of following her dreams. This was exactly the sort of situation in which a pony was supposed to be nervous. But Golden Harvest wasn't nervous. She was cool. She was calm. She was collected. She wished her leg would stop shaking because her hoof was really starting to hurt tapping against the cobbles like that. At least Golden Harvest caught up with the present, as the pony in front of her paid for his apples and left. She now experienced her life in delicious real time, each moment coming to her as it happened and not a second later. Ah, it was good to be back in the present. Applejack looked up and smiled. "Hey there, neighbor, that's a nice hat you got." There was a part of Golden Harvest's mind that tried to respond to the greeting with idle small talk.
Why, thank you. I got it at the general store. Did you know they also sell shears and mascara?
But for once, the urge to return friendly greetings was not the most powerful instinct coursing through her body. There were 4 words inside of Golden Harvest, clawing at her to get out. All her life she had been waiting in line, waiting in some remote past, waiting for her chance to join the present and tell Applejack those 4 little words. The opportunity was now upon her. She had her chance, and she did not dare hesitate to take it. She had to follow her dreams. For herself, for Applejack, for her carrots. Golden Harvest tore the hat off her head, revealing at long last her mane. No longer an orange sea of curls and waves, her mane was now cropped close to her skull. A bristly, striking orange line ran from the back of her neck up over the center of her head to end in a short, spiky tuft above the crest of her brow. "I am a lesbian!" The market square went quiet. Not quite silent, as there were still some birds chirping in the trees nearby, and a few foals playing in the park that had not heeded Golden's outburst. But for a market square on a busy Saturday, it was extraordinarily, uncomfortably quiet. 100 or more pairs of eyebrows shot up as 100 or more pairs of eyes centered on the crazy mare declaring to the world at the top of her lungs exactly which sort of pony she preferred to pony. Applejack belonged to one of those pairs of eyes. She looked up at Golden Harvest, her jaw falling a little bit slack. She blinked and coughed into her hoof. I suppose I'm real happy for you then," she offered Golden a weak smile. There was a high-pitched buzz in Golden Harvest's head. It took her a while to recognize it as the rational part of her mind, demanding, in not very nice words, to know what the hay she thought she was doing and why it hadn't been informed. There were a lot of ponies here. Golden Harvest wasn't one to shy from crowds, but there were a lot of them here. Enough of them to fill a market square on a Saturday. And they were all staring at her. All of them. And she had just shouted in front of these many, many ponies, Oh, Celestia. Applejack looked back and forth, and then pushed a bright red apple forward. "You, want an apple, hon?" Golden Harvest nodded and took the apple. She carried it in her teeth as she gathered her hat up off the ground and beat a hasty retreat from the market. It was supposed to be a Red Delicious, but it tasted only of shame and failure.